I hear there's a new eco-friendly company replanting forests. They're called Treecko. Bike Chain Starters Episode 9. Treecko. What's going on? I'm PokeWelder Zach, and today we're making Treecko out of bike chains. Before we get started, I'd like to let you know when this video hits 1,000 likes, I'll be doing a giveaway to one person from the comment section below. So, what'd you think about the intro joke? Do you have a better one? Or do you just like Treecko? If so, leave it in the comments below. Give the video a like, subscribe for more content, and let's get on to the build. Alright, let's get started by prepping up the chains. Smack dab, got it. Alright, this first section here is going to be used for Treecko's main body and his head. Those middle portions are, again, for both the head and body, with the two smaller pieces going to be the side of the head. The pieces I'm laying out now are going to be used for Treecko's tail. It's pretty much composed of a bunch of smaller sort of stacked pieces, because it's a little bit of a thicker tail. Now the single pieces I'm laying out here are going to be used for the arms, legs, and all the singles are for the toes / feet. Alright, so let's get started with the main body and the head. I've sort of tried to get a simplified version for my sculptures where I use these little square pieces here for as many things as I can. It keeps it small and sort of gives each of the sculptures a sort of similar appearance. So those will be used for the sides of the head. Now, getting the head and the body here, sometimes I try to do them in one piece. So as you can see here, I'm laying the head out, trying to kind of figure out the best way to lay it. Treecko has sort of that pointy top part of his head. This design does give him a little bit more of a belly, so I think in future designs I'll probably shift that back a little bit. You can see where it rotated with the head, and so that'll probably end up shifting back in future designs. Now, because of this particular structure, it is a little bit difficult to get the second piece lined up. So I just position it on there, try to line it up the best I can, and then I go through and I end up tacking different portions of it and then making sure that each one is lined. So I put it on a magnet to help keep them in position. And you can see I already have the body tacked up, and now I'm going through and aligning the head to weld that together. So that gives the two pieces. I'm going to clean them up, fold them over so that the welds are on the inside, giving a nice clean finish to the outside. You can now see the two parts of the head, which are going to go on the side. And again, this just gives them sort of that similar appearance to some of the other ones in design style. Quickly tacking the four corners of each of the parts of the head. Now we're going to get on to making the tail. This is a little quirky. He's got the two sort of different parts of his tail, and they're a little bit wide and kind of thick. So I ended up going with these sort of 3-link and 4-link pieces, and then stacking them on top of each other to get the appearance of Treecko's tail. So these are the two individual parts of it, and making them symmetrical, and then putting them next to each other. And going to quickly tack the base of them where they will connect to Treecko's body. And then again, just a couple additional tacks to secure them in place. They are still can move independently, and so I'm going to secure that as well once I add in the top part of the tail. This top part here is to give it the thickness that is generally a part of Treecko's tail. So you can see that's the finished product. We're going to clean the tail up, and then we will save that part for later. So body and tail are over to the side, and I kind of like how that looks, and I might make a future sculpture that has sort of that design aspect to it. Now you can see I've lined up the different parts for the legs and for the arms, taking those single link chains and unfolding them for their respective parts. Quickly tack each side so they don't move, and then we'll clean them up and add them to the body. These little single flat pieces here are going to be used for Treecko's feet. For some of the sculptures, they don't have distinctive hands or feet, but I felt that Treecko did sort of have those gecko toes that I wanted to highlight in this design. So you can kind of see those toes outlined here, and then I take the leg piece and I go ahead and weld it on before attaching it to the body. These are the two arm pieces, and once those are on, I use the magnet to keep him stable so I can attach the legs. So now you can see he's got his legs, his arms, and then we just need to attach the tail. Again, just using that magnet for some stability to make sure that the final product will be able to stand on its own. And some of the finishing touches is Treecko's little nose. Let's take a minute and talk about Patreon. Patreon is where I post updates, announcements, and exclusive bonus content such as sketches, designs, 3D models, and more. If any of that sounds interesting, go ahead and check it out in the description below. While you're down there, remember to like and subscribe. It really helps growing the channel. So with that, I want to thank all my current patrons, all my future patrons, and let's get back to the video. I thought this sort of rounded out the sculpture as a whole. Gonna finish up by cleaning the sculpture, getting off any bigger welds, slag, any sharp edges that came from welding. And so we used the angle grinder with the ceramic disc for that. Just get each little part cleaned up. I had to spend a good time on his nose because it was made from a half link. And so those pieces get a little weird welding them on. And can definitely get a little distorted. So I spent a good time here, especially with the Dremel tool, just sort of shaping up that nose piece. And then of course, getting in all the small crevices and getting some of that grime and dirt out that the bigger angle grinder was not able to get to. Especially in between the tail and then in between like the individual chain links, the Dremel tool is especially useful there. And gotta get all the toesies. So for Treecko's base coat, I gave him a sort of dark green for his tail, and then went through with a lighter green to give a base for the rest of the sculpture. The finer details are going to be going through with a brush and an acrylic paint to get his the red on his stomach, and then his bottom jaw and neck area. Yep, now we're going to get the bottom part of the jaw with the paint. I initially forgot this part, so I had to come back and redo it. Shh. Secrets. And I go through and I kind of just add in a little bit more onto the edges there, so you can see the red from the sides as well. So there we have it. There's our final design for Treecko. You've seen him from a raw set of bike chains all the way up to his finished form. Hope you enjoyed watching the process. I'm pretty happy with how this one particularly turned out. I think it's a lot better than its version 1. Which, if you want to see some of the different versions, you can check all that stuff out over on my Patreon. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I hope you learned a thing or two and enjoyed the video. As a reminder, when the video hits 1,000 likes, I'll be doing a giveaway to one person from the comment section below. So go ahead and leave those comments, what you liked about the video, what you'd like to see more of, or if you just like Treecko. Also, if you want to make requests for future projects or influence them, go ahead and check out Patreon, also in the description below. While you're down there, make sure to subscribe because next week we're going to be kicking off Sinnoh with Chimchar. So, until then, signing off with a Totodile smile.